I'm happy for you. At least that's what I say. I'm happy for you. In the most complicated way. You found the love I couldn't give. You found the arms I couldn't be. I'm happy for you. But don't ask what that does to me. I saw the way you looked at him, the way you used to look at me. That softness in your eyes returned, like spring after the freeze. And I smile because you deserve it, even though it wasn't mine to keep. I'm happy for you. At least that's what I say. I'm happy for you. In the most complicated way. You found the love I couldn't give. You found the arms I couldn't be. I'm happy for you. But don't ask what that does to me. He holds you like he means forever, like he studied all my wrongs. He says the things I should have whispered when I had you all along. And I hope he knows how lucky that he gets to hear your song. I'm not bitter, I'm not broken. I'm just standing in the rain, watching someone love you better, knowing I'm the one to blame. And the hardest part of growing up is meaning what you say. I'm happy for you, and this time it's the truth. I'm happy for you, though my heart's still black and blue. You're laughing like you used to before I made you cry. I'm happy for you, and that's the saddest kind of fine, the saddest kind of fine. Happy for you. I mean it. I mean it, even when it hurts. You said something this morning that you didn't even notice. You said when we're 60, we should learn how to make pottery. And the word we landed on me, like a quiet kind of peace. The casual way you said it, like the future was a place we'd already lease. You don't make grand declarations, you don't kneel with elaborate vows. You just slip the word forever into Tuesday's sentences somehow. You'll say next year we'll plant tomatoes. You'll say someday we'll see Japan. You don't ask if I'm coming, you just include me in the plan. You talk about us in future tense, like we're the obvious thing. You talk about us in future tense, and it's the most beautiful ring that you've ever put on me without ever putting one on. You talk about us in future tense, and I know exactly where I belong for all the years to come. Last week you said when we're old and you're driving me crazy, we'll laugh about this argument and shake our heads completely. And I almost stopped you mid-sentence to ask, did you hear what you just said? You gave us 40 more years while stirring something on the stove head. You talk about us in the future tense, like we're the obvious thing. You talk about us in the future tense, and it's the most beautiful ring that you've ever put on me without ever putting one on. You talk about us in future tense, and I know exactly where I belong for all the years to come. The grand gestures are loud, but the casual ones are short. Anyone can promise forever when the moment is romantic and pure, but to drop us into a sentence about retirement or a dog, that's a love that's woven through, a love I can read in any fog of doubt I have. You talk about us in future tense, and so I know we're real. You talk about us in future tense, and it's the loudest seal on a love I've sometimes questioned on nights when the doubt comes around. You talk about us in future tense, and I find my way back to the ground of us, the ground we share. You talk about us in future tense without even noticing, and I notice every time, and I love you a little more every single time you say we.
Smoke on the highway, gold in the rain, your name in the mirror, coming back again. I took the long road out of town just to watch the skyline drown in all the weather we once knew, and all the light that looked like you. Your scarf still folded on the seat, like love had only missed a beat. But every mile I put behind only drove you deeper in my mind. I said I'd be fine, I said I'd move on, but the lie got thin the second you were gone. Ashes in the rear view, burning through the blue. I lost the life I thought we had the night I lost you. Ashes in the rear view, still falling in my chest. Some fires don't die when love does, they only glow harder in the red. The radio keeps cutting through with songs that never learn the truth. But some goodbyes don't close the door, they leave it swinging evermore. I see your face in every sign, in every bridge, in every line, and all the got ache, I wanted silence. You stayed, ashes in the rear view, burning through the blue. I lost the life I thought we had the night I lost you. Ashes in the rear view, still falling in my chest. Some fires don't die when love does, they only glow harder in the red. If I scream your name, will the road give away? Will the dark return? What the dawn still takes? No answer, no sign, just the engine and the rain. And a heart too late, still calling through the flame. Ashes in the rear view, now the whole sky wears a hue. Every broken light I pass breaks a little more into ashes in the rear view. I feel you in the glass, and I don't know how to lose you. And losing you is all I have. Smoke on the highway, and I keep driving through. We carved our names on a paper moon, held it up to the summer room. Street cracks shining after rain, like old blood running through the lane. Your laugh came first and the world turned slow. The radio hummed from the window below. I thought if I stood in that silver blue, time might do what we asked it to. But time was always leaning toward the dawn, and still the joy kept breathing after you were gone. Paper moon name, still glowing in the dark. Paper moon name, still burning soft in my heart. The colors fade, the years move through, but some nights still belong to me and you. Polaroid slept in the glove box light, warm from the engine and the road at night. We built an empire out of almost thin, and watched it fly beyond our hands. You held my breath like a secret chord. I held your silence like something worth more than every promise we were too young to keep, or every dream that never learned to sleep. If memory is thin paper, then let it bend, not break. Let it glow in the dashboard like one soft mistake. Paper moon name, still float above the years. Paper moon names, still brighter than my fears. And when the city empties out, I hear that old refrain and see our names written in moonlight again. Again. was being short with you, snapping over nothing again. Most people wouldn't match that energy, or walked away withdrawn. You looked at me steady and said softly, "That's not you. I know you, and that voice you're using is not the one I love most through." You didn't lecture, didn't shame me, didn't tell me how I'd hurt. You just gently named the difference between my worst and what I'd earned. The version of myself I'd worked toward, the version I'd been growing. You spoke to him directly, like the rest of me wasn't showing. You speak to my better self, even when my worst is loud. You speak to my better self, even in the doubting crowd. You don't address the version flailing, you address the one I'm becoming. You speak to my better self, and he comes forward slowly humming, comes back to the surface. It's a particular kind of faith, to talk past someone's storm, to trust the calm is in there, the kindness still informs the deepest part of who they are. Even when behavior strays, you speak to my better self, and he answers when you raise. You speak to my better self, even when my worst is loud. You speak to my better self, even in the doubting crowd. You don't address the version flailing, you address the one I'm becoming. You speak to my better self, and he comes forward slowly humming, comes back to the surface. Most people meet you where you are, and then they leave you there. You meet me where I'm trying to go, and help me find the stair, the one that lifts me up to him, the man I wanna be. You speak to my better self, and then I get to be him with you. I get to be him. You speak to my better self, and I wanna be him more. You speak to my better self, and I'm not bracing anymore for someone to remind me that I've slipped and I've been low. You speak to my better self, and I rise to meet you every time you call me home. Every time you speak to my better self, and he's coming back now. Thank you for waiting, thank you for knowing he was always there. You made a whole evening out of something small. I said, a passing comment on a flavor you found and brought home instead. Most people would have nodded and forgotten by the day. You write the small things down like they're treasures on display. You celebrate weird victories, like I quit drinking soda last month, or I called my brother on Sunday, or I cooked a meal and didn't ruin the fun. Most people would have skipped past these, looking for the bigger marks. You light up my entire kitchen over the smallest little sparks. You make small things big in a world that makes big things small. You make small things big, and you find the gold in all the afternoons that everyone dismisses, the Tuesday no one would recall. You make small things big, and it changed how I see it all. Changed how I see my whole life. Because of you I notice the wins that wouldn't make a list, the moments most people skip, the flickers most would miss. You taught me that a Wednesday can be worth remembering if someone treats it like a gift and gives it light and meaning. You make small things big in a world that makes big things small. You make small things big, and you find the gold in all the afternoons that everyone dismisses, the Tuesday no one would recall. You make small things big, and it changed how I see it all. Changed how I see my whole life. There's a culture out there that only honors mountaintops. You honor the path between them, you honor where I sit and stop, you honor the way I tied my shoes, the way I made it through the day. You make small things big, and in doing that you say that my whole life has been worth honoring all along. You make small things big, and so my small life feels full. You make small things big, and I'm not chasing the impossible. I'm just living, and you're catching every quiet, beautiful thing. You make small things big, and the smallness now means everything. The smallness is everything. You make small things big. Look what you did to me. I see the world with bigger eyes and smaller scope and bigger gratitude. Thank you. Thank you. I came home with a thing to say, something heavy, something close. Most people would have launched right in with opinions and a dose of how they'd handle it differently, of what they'd say to whoever was the cause. You looked at me and asked instead a question I'd been needing without knowing it, because You said, do you want my thoughts on this? Or do you wanna just be heard? And I sat there like the question was the kindest thing I'd ever heard. You ask if I want advice, or just somewhere to put it down. You ask if I want advice, like you respect the difference now between fixing me and holding me, between solving me and letting me be. You ask if I want advice, and in the asking I am free. I can pick the kind of love I need. Sometimes I want your wisdom, sometimes I want your hands, sometimes I wanna ramble until I find my own answer where I stand. You don't assume which one, you don't pick for me which more. You just give me both options, and that's the kindest road. You ask if I want advice, or just somewhere to put it down. You ask if I want advice, like you respect the difference now between fixing me and holding me, between solving me and letting me be. You ask if I want advice, and in the asking I am free. I can pick the kind of love I need. Everyone wants to give you their solution, like your problem is theirs to solve. You just wanna know how I'd like to be loved, and you let me make the call. The kind of respect is rare, the kind of asking is gold. You ask if I want advice, and I get to be in control of how I wanna be held. You ask if I want advice, and tonight I just say listen. You ask if I want advice, and you don't fight my decision. You just settle in and hear me without preparing your reply. You ask if I want advice, and that's the love I've been waiting for all my life. You ask, and you wait for the answer, and you actually mean it. Either way, you'll be there. Neon on the pavement, glue under my shoes. The city keeps on talking, but it never says you. Midnight on the avenue, taxi lights and shuttered rooms. Everybody's headed somewhere, I just drift beneath the bloom. Window glass and lipstick signs, silver trains and closing time. All this motion, all this color, still can't pull you from my mind. The whole town shines like it's alive, but I'm just moving through the light. Neon without you, still hums inside my chest, 1,000 lights above the night, and none of them can let me rest. Neon without you, I wear it like a wound, cool and clean and lit too well, beneath the midnight blue. The sign stayed on, I kept walking. I never remember you in order. A half-burned photo, a motel key, the smell of sun on old denim sleeves. You laugh in the distance, a carnival tune, and one gold second of July moon. The pieces don't fit, they only glow in different places. I still know a wrist, a window, a dashboard light, then gone again into the night. Not enough to hold, enough to stay in the cracks between the years away. Shards of July still under my skin, little broken lights I keep falling in. Shards of July, beautiful and untrue. I lost the whole night long ago, but not the parts of you. An old receipt inside a book, a station platform, one last look. The fare came down, the paint wore thin, but August still lets memory in. I don't call it pain now, not exactly that, more like weather that keeps drifting back. If I could keep one moment whole, I'd keep the breath before we knew that even perfect summer nights can split in two. Shards of July still shining when I turn. Every little piece I could not save still finds a way to burn. Soon, some summers never end, they just break into life. I write I love you in the things I do, not in the things I say. I check your tires when it's cold, I stay up till you're safe. I move the heavy things before you ask. I learn the foods that make you calm, but when you look at me and wait for words, my tongue forgets it all. It's easier to love you than to say it, easier to show than to explain. My hands know all the right translations, but my mouth keeps losing the refrain. I love you in 100 silent ways that never make it to the page. It's
sweetest kind of curse, the sweetest curse. Easier to love you, but I'll say it anyway. I love you, I love you, even when the words don't work. I love you.
Blue light on the wall, your breath in the room. We thought the night was ours to keep. You said forever like a dare in the dark, like two wild kids with a match and a spark. The city below us was melting in blue, and every broken thing looked beautiful on you. We danced past the warning, past reason, past fear, as if the clock was just a sound we'd never hear. The time was already moving, even while we stood still. Love was already leaving, even while it felt real. Take me back, before we knew better, before goodbye had a name, before the fire turned into weather, before the smoke, before the rain. We were all heart, all heat, all light. Our own words said just right. If I could touch one vanished night, I'd go back there before we knew better. Rain on the station, trains in the glass, your hand on my jacket, the future moving fast. We talked like the world was a door we could break, and all that we wanted was ours if we stayed awake. Now every song opens the same old scar, a soft little wound where your bright eyes are. And you was a language we spoke without shame. Now all that's left of it still sounds like your name. Take me back, before we knew better, before goodbye had a name, before the fire turned into weather, before the smoke, before the rain. We were all heart, all heat, all light. Our own words said just right. If I could touch one vanished night, I'd go back there before we knew better. Not to save it, not to stay, not to ask the years to move away. Just one look before it slipped, when forever still lived on your lips. Take me back, before we knew better, before the world drew lines, before our hands learned how to tremble, before your shadow left mine. We were all heart, all heat, all grace, young enough to call it fate. If love still burns in any place, it burns back there before we knew better. Blue light on the wall, the record spinning thin. Some nights never leave, they just live under your skin. came in heavy with a list of things we needed to discuss. The schedule, the future, the weight that's piling up on us. You poured me water without asking, sat me down before I could start, and said, baby, before you say it, can it wait until the morning starts? Tell me tomorrow, said with the gentlest authority. Tell me tomorrow, like the night was something you'd protect for me. You didn't dismiss what I was carrying, you just gave it permission to rest. Tell me tomorrow was the kindest sentence I'd been gifted, the kindest in a long, long while. I had been bracing for an hour of dragging weight up from the ground. You let me lay my forehead on your shoulder without a sound. You didn't promise to fix anything, you didn't say it'd be alright. You just said, in this moment we're allowed to rest tonight. Tell me tomorrow, said with the gentlest authority. Tell me tomorrow, like the night was something you protect for me. You didn't dismiss what I was carrying, you just gave it permission to rest. Tell me tomorrow was the kindest sentence I'd been gifted, the kindest in a long, long while. We live inside a culture that says hurry, solve, repair. You taught me love can be a pause, a held breath in the air, a gentle note of urgency, a soft hand on the brakes. The world will still be standing when the morning finally breaks. When the morning breaks. Tell me tomorrow, and I will, I promise I will. Tell me tomorrow, we'll meet it on the windowsill, with coffee and with clearer eyes, with hands less full of weight. Tell me tomorrow made me trust that I could wait, made me trust this love is safe. Tell me tomorrow, and you'll be ready, and I'll be calmer, and we'll figure it all out together. Just not tonight. Tonight is for sleeping next to you.
Gold dust on the turntable, needle waiting in the dark, your old record by the window, like a hand laid on my heart. The room smelled faintly of winter, and the city far below But the moment that song started, everything turned soft and gold. Gold dust on the turntable, spinning all our nights alive. Every crackle, every chorus keeps the younger us in time. Gold dust on the turntable, falling through the lamplight slow. Some loves leave, but some stay singing long after they let go. You used to stand beside the stereo, eyes closed at the second verse, then smile before the high note came, like you already knew it hurt. I learned your heart in little ways, in the records that you chose, in the songs you played on evenings when you wanted not to talk. And even now, one side, one spin can let the whole old life back in. Let the years put dust on everything, frames and shelves and silver rings. They still can't dim what music knew, how love once sounded. Next to you, next to you, next to you. Gold dust on the turntable, still glowing when the midnight runs. And all the rooms I've lived in since still been around that one old song. Gold dust on the turntable, still falling through the blue. And every time the record turns, it turns me back to you. Side A ended, my memory didn't. Came back to the room early. You didn't see me coming in. You were talking to a friend of yours, saying something I didn't expect to begin. You were describing me to her, the way I move through the world. It was nothing like the version that my own thoughts had unfurled. You said he listens when no one is talking. He notices the things others miss. He doesn't make a thing of it, he just exists. Like a quiet kind of weather that makes the rest of us feel safe. And I stopped breathing in the doorway, because I'd never known I had a face that looked like that to anyone. I heard you describe me to a stranger, and I almost didn't know who you meant. I heard you describe me to a stranger, and it was the kindest gift you'd ever lent. The version of me that
holding what you had said. I didn't interrupt the conversation, I just kept it in my head. Most people perform their love when they know that you can hear. You were saying it without me listening, and it was the truest sound my ears could clear. I heard you describe me to a stranger, and I almost didn't know who you meant. I heard you describe me to a stranger, and it was the kindest gift you'd ever lent. The version of me that lives in your mouth when you don't think I'm listening is the version I wanna be in real life. The man you're describing, the man you're describing to her. You don't shape your love for an audience, you just love me everywhere you go. Even into rooms I'm not in, even into people I don't know. You carry my name like it's clean, you hand it out gently and bright. And the version of me you're carrying is the one I wanna live up to tonight. It's the one I wanna be. I heard you describe me to a stranger, and I'm trying to grow into your words. I heard you describe me to a stranger, and the man you saw was worth becoming, and I'm becoming him with your description as my map. I heard you describe me to a stranger, and I wanna wear that man. I wanna wear him every day. I heard you describe me, and I closed the door quietly. I went and sat in the kitchen, and I cried a little bit, because I'd never been seen like that. I've never been seen.
I left for work this morning, glanced back at the door. You were standing in the window, right where you had been before. Most people would have turned by now, back to coffee, back to phones. You were just there watching, like seeing me leave was its own song. I waved and you waved back, I kept walking, then I turned again. You were still there, smaller now, but waiting for the very end. When I would round the corner and you couldn't see me anymore, you don't rush back to your morning. You give me the whole way to the floor of wherever
wherever I am going.
You watch me walk away, and you don't turn until I'm gone. You watch me walk away, and it's the smallest thing, but it's the longest love song I've ever been given, the kind that says I see you until I really can't. You watch me walk away, and in that watching I am held. At the airport last December, you stayed past security. You didn't have to wait there, you weren't going through with me, but you stood at the glass divider until I disappeared from view. And I cried quietly walking because nobody else has watched me through. You watch me walk away, and you don't turn until I'm gone. You watch me walk away, and it's the smallest thing, but it's the longest love song I've ever been given, the kind that says I see you until I really can't. You watch me walk away, and in that watching I am held. The world wants you to be efficient with your goodbyes, your stays. You spend your perfect minutes watching someone walk away, and in that gentle wasting, the love you give is real. You watch me walk away, and in that watching I can feel that I matter, that I really matter. You watch me walk away, and I take that with me. You watch me walk away, and every goodbye becomes a small, deliberate vow, a quiet, deliberate sign. You watch me walk away, and I keep going forward now, because you're always at the window, always watching, always mine. You watch me walk away, and you'll be there when I come back. I know it, I always know it. That's the gift. That's the gift.
Boxes in the attic, dust in the light. Old tape player on a Saturday night. I press play softly, the room turns gold, and suddenly I'm back in the life we stole. You in my jacket, laughing too loud, windows wide open, radio turned up. Thin wall apartment, mattress on the floor. We had so little, but it felt like more. No map, no money, no reason to leave, just the sound of us and a heart on a sleeve. When the cassette clicks, I still hear you, still feel summer running through the room, still see a shadow in the kitchen light, still taste forever in a one-room night. Every little hiss, every little burn brings back the world we thought we'd never lose. I know time moves on, clicks. Corner store neon, cheap red wine, your hand in mine at 4:45. We wrote our future on the back of receipts, like young hearts do, and they still believe. Your old blue sweater still smells like June, and fireflies still flicker when I think of you. We were all reckless and worn out dreams, but nothing has ever felt so clean. No vows, no warnings, no grand goodbyes, just your name in my mouth in the heat of July. When the cassette clicks, I still hear you, still feel your breath moving through the room, still see your face in the dashboard light, still call it love when I can't call it mine. Every little hiss, every little skip pulls me back to the heart I was with you. I know time moves on, but part of me lies somewhere in that song. When the cassette clicks, maybe we were never meant to stay. Maybe we were only made that way. All spark, all smoke, all summer skin, all the wrong turns I'd still take again. If I had one wish, it wouldn't be forever, just one more night before we knew better. When the cassette clicks, I still hear you, still feel that old life shaking loose, still see us young enough to mean it, when we said love like it could be time to it. Every little hiss, every little ache opens up a door I never shut. I know time moves on, but some love sticks deep in your bones. When the cassette clicks, boxes in the attic, moaning at the blinds. The song runs out, but you don't leave my mind.
I was told as a child to stop being so sensitive, that my feelings were too much, that I had to be conservative with my tears, with my heart, with the things that moved me deep. You ask me to share them now. You don't make me weep alone in sleep. I was told to be tougher, to care less, to stand stronger. You hand me books that make me cry, and then you ask me what I thought of the longer, quieter sections, the parts that landed. You don't critique my softness, you ask it questions like it matters, because to you it does, it actually does. You celebrate the parts my family criticized, and I didn't know that was allowed. You celebrate the parts my family criticized, and so I'm finally proud of the things I used to hide, the things they used to scold. You celebrate the parts my family criticized, and I'm undoing the cold that settled in me long ago. I was told my voice was too quiet, that I should speak up more. You lean in to hear me, you don't make me roar. For the right to be heard, you just listen at my
used to hide, the things they used to scold. You celebrate the parts my family criticized, and I'm undoing the code that settled in me long ago. The things I was told were wrong, you hold up like a flag. The things I was told were weak, you list as the things that drag your heart toward me like a permanent pull. You celebrate the parts my family criticized, and the cup that was emptied is finally full. Finally full. You celebrate the parts my family criticized, and so I'm rebuilding from scratch. You celebrate the parts my family criticized, and every small inheritance of cruelty you're slowly taking apart with your simple loving back. Celebrate the parts my family criticized, and I'm becoming the man they were too small to see. I'm becoming the man that you saw all along. You celebrate the soft, the quiet, the strange, everything they tried to fix. You love, and so I'm finally fixed by not being fixed at all, by being loved exactly as I am.
Your voice came back like July through a wire. No picture frame, no old perfume could fill the dark the way you do. The phone lit up at 1:16, and all the years went thin for me.
Outside, the city held its breath. Rain on roofs and cigarettes. Inside,
Your hello crossed the room and said, "My lonely blue in bloom." You asked if I still drove out west, if I still wore that black old vest. I laughed too low, but every word came back to me as touch. Telephone summer, still warm in the dark, still leaves its gold on the walls of my heart. Telephone summer, soft as midnight rain. Some loves don't return, but they still remain. No map, no train, no avenue could carry me faster back into you. One low line, one breath, one name, and all the distance turns back to flame. Telephone summer, still burns when the black runs deep, still moves through the wire and wakes what I thought
did not.
Blue neon signs are bleeding through the pouring glass, painting every tear I try so hard to pass. Your name is glowing where the letters used to burn. Now it's just a color that I never learned. Turn it off, but the light still finds me. Blue neon heartache glowing in my veins. Every sign reminds me of the love we gave away. I can't escape the color of the pain. Blue neon heartache, lighting up the rain. The city pulses like a heart that won't forget. Every corner holds the promise that we never kept. I drive these streets like they're the only home I've known, chasing lights that feel exactly like your own. Turn it off, but the light still finds me. Blue neon heartache glowing in my veins. Every sign reminds me of the love we gave away. I can't escape the color of the pain. Blue neon heartache, lighting up the rain. If the neon died and left me in the dark, I'd still see your color glowing in my heart. Blue neon heartache, burn me one last time. Let the color hold what's left of you and I. You're the only light this midnight ever claimed. Blue neon heartache, forever in my name. I told you my actual opinion about a thing that wasn't cool, the unfashionable thing, the thing I'd usually overrule. Before saying it in public, for fear of getting it wrong, you just nodded and considered, then asked me to expand on it long. I sent you the photo, the bad one, the awkward one, the one I never put online, the one without filtering done. You said you actually love this version. You can see my real face, and I felt my whole chest unclench for the first time in a long, long age. I'm not curating myself for you, and I didn't know I could stop. I'm not curating myself for you, and the editing dropped off my shoulders all at once, like a coat I'd worn too long. I'm not curating myself for you, and the version that's left is the song, the truest one I've got. With everyone else I'm choosing the angle, the tone, the take. With you I just say things and let them be what they make. Sometimes they're awkward, sometimes I've gotten it wrong. You don't critique my drafts, you just let me be in the song. I'm not curating myself for you, and I didn't know I could stop. I'm not curating myself for you, and the editing dropped off my shoulders all at once, like a coat I'd worn too long. I'm not curating myself for you, and the version that's left is the song, the truest one I've got. The world wants polished, the world wants brand. You just want me as I am, with my opinions and my hand of cards that aren't all winning, with my views that aren't all sound. I'm not curating myself for you, and so I'm finally on the ground, not floating above the truth. Oh, I'm not curating myself for you, and I'm finding out who I am. I'm not curating myself for you, and the man underneath the performance every day is finally getting some air. I'm not curating myself for you, and he's not bad, he's actually rare. He's actually rare. This version. I'm not curating, and you still love me. Apparently the unedited me is the one you wanted all along, and it took me years to believe it, but I do now. I do. I do. Headlights cut the fog like memories cutting through. I see your silhouette in every passing view. The seat beside me empty, but your perfume still remains, playing hide and seek inside these pouring rains. Close my eyes and the world disappears. Dashboard reverie, take me back to you, where the nights were endless and the skies were blue. In this leather seat, I feel you next to me. Dashboard reverie, you're my sweetest lights are dancing like they did that summer night when we swore the road would never end our flight. Now the engine hums the melody we left behind. Every mile I drive rewinds you in my mind. Close my eyes and the world disappears. Dashboard reverie, take me back to you, where the nights were endless and the skies were blue. In this leather seat, I feel you next to me. Dashboard reverie, you're my sweetest memory. If I could pull the stars down and make them spell your name, I'd trade every tomorrow just to feel the same. Dashboard reverie, hold me one more time. Let the scent surround this broken heart of mine. You're the only dream this radio will ever play. Dashboard reverie, forever and a day.
I remember the valley before I remember my own name. Grass moves slow under evening gold. You were walking through it like a story being told. No city behind us, no wires in the sky, only the hush and the swallows flying by. The river bent around the hill, and every fear I carried suddenly stood still. You turned and smiled, the whole light changed, like the world had waited for that one small gaze. Green fire valley, burning soft and low, where your hand found mine and the wildflowers glow. Green fire valley, still alive in me. When the world turns cold, that is where I go to breathe. We said almost nothing, the evening said enough. We knew our longing before we called it love. I had been all distance, all locked doors and doubt. Then your voice moved through me and let the summer out. Years can build their roads, years can close the view, years can cover everything except the light in you. No one else can find it, no one else can see, but the valley still goes on somewhere underneath me.
crossing my heart.
Backseat heat and city rain, street name slipping down the pane. Your knee against my shaking lip, and dawn still far from where we were. The driver hums an old refrain, low and half buried in the frame. You turned to me through amber light and made the whole ride feel like fate. Taxi to the morning, don't get there too soon. Leave us in the silver hour, under the last moon. Taxi to the morning, let the red lights hold. Two hearts in the backseat, trying not to let go. You brushed my hand and looked away, like tenderness might break the spell. I watched the meter climb in green and wish the numbers nothing. We passed the river, past the bars, past sleeping signs and tired stars. And every block we drifted through felt less like night, more like you. No station, no platform, no grand goodbye, just morning waiting outside the glass. So drive a little slower, let the city blur. Love is sometimes only a cab, a kiss, a hurt. Taxi to the morning, still runs through me now. Every time the sky goes pale, I see your face somehow. Taxi to the morning, you're almost late, and I have never really let that ride fade away. The meter stopped, my heart kept going.
You park beneath the neighbor's trees, engine low in summer breeze. House lights out, the whole block still. My pulse louder than the wheel. No radio, no need for sound. The night itself was all around. You turned to me, half shy, half sure, and made the dark feel less obscure. One hand wax off every time it rains. Velvet driveway, still glowing under every storm. Velvet driveway, still the place my heart stays warm. No band, no bells, no bright parade, just the night and that first slow wave. Velvet driveway, still under my skin. Velvet driveway, let the slow night in. We didn't go anywhere today. We didn't see anyone at all. We watched something we've seen before and talked about nothing down the hall. You painted your nails on the floor. I read the same page 3 times, and somewhere in the nothing I found the best night of my life. Thank you for being boring with me, for the kind of love that doesn't need a scene. Thank you for being boring with me, where the silence tastes like evergreen. No fireworks, no reservations, no stories we need to tell. Thank you for being boring with me. It's where I love you best. It's where I love you well. We argued about what to eat, then chose the same thing as last week. You stole the blanket like you always do. I let you 'cause you do it sweet. We didn't take a single photo, we didn't post a single thing, but this invisible Tuesday evening is the richest life I've ever lived. Thank you for being boring with me, for the kind of love that doesn't need a scene. Thank you for being boring with me, where the silence tastes like evergreen. No fireworks, no reservations, no stories we need to tell. Thank you for being boring with me. It's where I love you best. It's where I love you well. The world keeps selling excitement like peace is something to escape, but I've been everywhere the noise goes, and I choose this quiet place. I choose the nothing we created. I choose the slow, the still, the plain, over every wild adventure. Give me boring every day. Thank you for being boring with me, for choosing calm over the thrill. Thank you for being boring with me, where the hours are soft and still. We built a whole world out of nothing.
beautiful thing. Boring with you is my favorite thing to do. My absolute favorite. Let's do nothing again tomorrow.